A couple of years down the road, you go home to
Really?
Hamlet. Yeah.
McLean, Virginia.
Burnham Wood Drive.
Fuck yeah. What for?
Oh, you're going home for the holidays?
Very cool.
Yeah. It's been a few years since you've been back, and your brother's coming home. Uh, your sister's gonna come by, like she's gonna be there. A big family affair, a Dean family Christmas. It's been a while.
Yeah. Okay. In the Hamlet for sure.
So you get there like the Monday of the week, you're basically gonna stay there for like 2 weeks. You're gonna go through the new year as well. Just gonna spend some time with your family. You get to hang out and you see some old friends, spend time with your folks. It's very nourishing. Your mom wakes you up on Christmas morning. She's got gifts for you guys. You weren't expecting any, you were just like, yeah, but it felt like you were a kid again.
How
It
cool.
was like it
What
was
is
like it was like 5 in the morning and she woke you up.
Oh shit. What did I get? Anything good?
You got a there's a stocking hanging over your mantle. You reach inside of it, there's $100 gift card to adamandeve.com.
Absolutely inappropriate.
You pull it out and look at it. Your mom and dad are standing in the doorway. Your dad's got his arm around your mom. He's thinking about what this exact situation looked like 30 years ago. A tear rolls down his cheek. You're holding $100 gift card to adamandeve.com in your right hand. You turn to him and he just solemnly nods. Your mom makes breakfast popular,
Fuck yeah. Absolutely.
makes great breakfast. And afterwards she goes, "Guys, there's something I'd like us all to do together as a family." And you guys are like, "Sure, mom, anything you want, you know." She's like, "I'd like us all to go to mass
Okay. Sure.
as a family."
Okay.
And to be fair, it's been a while since you've been to mass. You know, it's
Yeah.
been I don't know how long at this point. It's been several years.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
So you're kind of like, yeah, sure. Well, let's go Christmas mass. You you guys file in. The parking lot's fucking packed.
Well, yeah.
You guys go to the McLean First Catholic Church, brought to you by Rocket Money. Rocket Money is just sponsoring some churches. They do a lot of work with them
Why do they need sponsorships in the first place? It's such a big
because
religion.
because church in the last few years has changed.
Really?
Yeah, you know, it's a little different. It's a little different since Pope Reggie took over.
Yeah.
Pope Reggie is the youngest pope that there's ever been, right? He's like a Gen Z pope. He's on his phone a lot, he invests in crypto,
Wow.
but he's also like got an eye towards openness and kindness and
Okay.
and people more so than previous popes had. So you show up, you guys file into your pew, you know. The priest, like the lights dim in the church. And for a moment, you hear just like a squeal of feedback, and everybody kind of covers their ears. And then you hear like just a fucking guitar go down, 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 down,
Oh,
and then just like a
whoa.
thump of a bass drum. Down, 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 thump, thump. And then you hear a voice come over, and everybody's like clapping along, they're like stomping their feet, your mom and dad included, it's like clear they've been to this before. Like,
Okay.
down, 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 down. And then you hear a voice go, ladies and gentlemen, down, 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 down. Are you ready to worship? Down, 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 down. And there's a like fucking the door that like leads into like the offices behind like the pulpit just catches on fire, the door frame.
Whoa.
No, 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 no.
What?
You see a brilliant light fill up the hallway, and a
Oh
shadowy figure
man.
steps in front of the light.
Holy shit.
No, 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 no. You see the silhouette put on like a headset with like an earpiece, and he
Oh
starts like
no.
clapping above his head, like in
I
time.
don't I don't trust any of those dudes.
Everybody like in the whole place is like clapping along. They just keep playing that guitar riff over and over again. And the voice comes on. He situates the earpiece and he goes, my Catholic brethren, welcome to Christmas Mass. Do, 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 do. He comes walking out. He's got the what do they call the the boys that do this stuff? The
Altar boys?
altar boys. He's like
Yeah.
flanked. He's got three of them on each side. They're all like stepping in together, They're kind of like marching in. They have like a little like step pattern that they're doing,
Oh, cool.
right?
Man, showmanship has returned to the Catholic Church.
It is remarkable how much you have missed out on. This guy walks up the stairs, right? He stands in front of the lectern. He cuts the mic. He goes, "What the fuck is up?" And everybody
Oh,
loses it,
what?
right?
You can't say fucking church, dude.
Look, I'm telling you that times have changed. Okay. But
Jeez.
he gives Christmas mass, and he goes, one last thing before we get out of here. He goes, the good people of Rocket Money has sponsored a one of one experience for somebody in our congregation today. The lights dim even lower. There's a bunch of candles on the altar. They just fucking pop on. The
Oh
only
shit.
light source in the room. He leans
Oh
forward over the
no.
lectern,
Oh
shadows shifting up his
no.
face. He says,
Oh
who wants to see the crucifixion?
my God.
To the side of the pulpit, there's an altar boy. He's like rolling a bingo ball, and he pulls a number out and he goes, row G, seat 12. And you look down and you're like, holy shit.
It's me?
Rocket Money is going to send you to the crucifixion.
What is that? But that's not what Christmas is about.
So down, 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 down. Everybody's like screaming. You're just hearing that fucking bass drum rattling your fucking core.
What do they mean that they're gonna send me to the crucifixion?
Yeah, you're like what? Yeah, you're like what? You like I said, the lights are basically off. It's just candles. A spotlight hits you right in the face. Down, 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 down. The bass drum just rattles this thing. You look
Oh,
up into the rafters and you think whoever's up there has to be rock solid because the bass drum is rattling. The bass is rattling this fucking building.
uh-huh.
You look up and Ben Cholak is he's tied off at the waist. He's got a rope around his waist. It's secured to the rafters. He takes a drag off of a lit cigarette. It lights up like an ornament. Just for a moment, a brilliant, blinding red. Do, 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 do. You're sucked back in. Everybody's like clapping along with this drum in time, you know.
Hmm.
The priest is like, "Come on up here, son." You stand up. You start walking down the aisle. There's like the aisle, like he snaps his fingers, flames just shoot up the sides of the aisle.
Oh, geez. Yeah, this is like a WWE entrance or something.
You're walking slow, you're walking in time with the music. You don't even realize it. That's how entranced you are. You're just like walking along in time with the music.
Wow.
As you're walking up, the priest, he says, "Thanks to the good people at Rocket Money, you, my friend, are going back to witness the most important event in the history of humanity." You climb the steps up to the pulpit. You stand face to face with the priest. He gets more animated. He gets more intense. He's got tears just streaming down his face. He says,
Whoa.
"You're going to go see Jesus Christ the moment he sacrificed everything." He said, "Are you ready?"
Man. Yeah.
He takes a Bible in his hand. Dun, 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 dun. The place is chaotic with how loud it is.
So here's
People are screaming. People are weeping.
here's what is tripping me out right now. If I went to church on Christmas, I absolutely would have taken an edible before going. So right now, this must be abs just driving me
Yeah, it's
up the
very
wall.
strange.
Oh man,
Dun, 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 dun.
not
Right?
a good choice.
You say, "I'm ready." The priest takes a moment, he says a prayer, and then he whacks you on the head with the Bible. And I don't know how to, I've never had this experience, so I don't know how to verbalize it, but it's almost like you travel through a tube. You're
Yeah.
surrounded in a tube of light and you have to watch a 30-second Rocket Money ad.
Before I time travel.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So you're like watching this Rocket Money ad and it's Chris Pratt and he's just like, "Hi, I'm TV and films Chris Pratt." He goes, "Before I made it big, I was terrible with my money, you know." And he's just doing one of those things. His pants come down at one point, you know. It's just like
It's funny.
shitty stuff. No, you
Oh.
know, he's got like a cross on a necklace hanging around his neck. Like, so you watch this fucking boring ass thing, and then you sort of just kind of fall out into the backside of some sort of spectacle. You see, there's already a couple other crosses in the ground with people crucified on them. There's a bunch of military guys hanging around, a bunch of
Like the Romans or what?
non-military. Yeah, there's a couple pals of Jesus that are hanging out.
Pals of Jesus.
Yeah, there's a few of them that
Like
are
his
there.
disciples.
I mean, I'm not like super familiar with who these guys are, but probably, but maybe some non-disciple friends, you know? There's people there that care about him that are going to be present.
So there's people there who weren't followers of his, but just thought he was what, like a cool guy. They're like
Yeah,
friends with him.
like there's a guy, his name was Frank uh Hammersmith. And as
Wow.
as Jesus was led out to the site where he would be crucified,
Hammersmith.
Frank uh he made tools. Jesus was a carpenter, they had a natural relationship. It started out as business, but they became close friends over time. When Jesus needed to like make things,
Yeah.
Jesus one time was making a chair. He said, "My chair is not comfortable, and I will make a new one." He stood up and proclaimed. Well, he had to go get his. So he goes and sees Frank Hammersmith.
What did he proclaim that to?
Uh,
Who would he
just
even
people who
say
were
that
around,
to?
the prostitutes and stuff that hung out with him a lot. All
Yeah.
the, he was friends with like prostitutes.
Yeah, he was with the low, with the downtrodden.
Yeah, so it's just like a bunch of prostitutes and ne'er-do-wells that were hanging out with Jesus. And he was like, I'm going to
Okay.
make this chair. So him and Jesus and a couple prostitutes went to Frank's wares. And Jesus was like, Frank, I am making a new chair. What do I need? And Frank's like, you're the carpenter. Like, you just tell me, and they kind of just struck up a friendship. So Frank's there and Frank's like, look, I don't agree with everything he does, but I like the guy. That's kind of his stance on it.
Hmm.
So you're sort of standing back, watching everything happen. You see Jesus let out. One of the Romans sort of like looks, he like steps out of line. He looks in your direction. He goes, "You there?" He goes, "Bring the cross." And everybody turns and looks at you. And there's like a cross that's like hanging out right there. It's like it's leaned up against a tree.
It's like the cross.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You kind of look at it, and the Roman goes, "Now your sword being unsheathed."
Okay. I give him the cross.
You grab the cross, it's heavy. You drag it a couple 100 feet. Takes you a while, you know. You weren't expecting it. You and a couple other a couple Romans move it to the hole in the ground, and it sort of it like slides into the hole, so it's set. When it slides, you feel just like a sharp pain in your finger. And you look down and you've got just like a splinter. And you're like, you try to get it out with your mouth, and you're like, fuck, man, it itches. It's just very uncomfortable.
Do any of like the Roman guards think it's weird that I'm just like some guy wearing modern clothing?
You're not wearing modern clothing, you're wearing clothing of the time. But
Oh,
you do have like a big Rocket Money patch on the back of it, in case anybody asks. So,
these guys are always hustling. I'll give them that.
man, forever on the hustle. So you think about this fucking splinter, you sort of fall back and you like try to like remove yourself from the location. You want to watch from afar. And the thought of your splinter goes away immediately because you witnessed the moment that Christ is crucified.
Wow. Man,
It
that's
brings a
such an
tear.
intense moment.
It brings a tear to your eye. Everyone is weeping. The Romans are weeping. It's just a hard thing to watch. Suddenly, the sky turns red and blue, the colors of Rocket Money. You see a Rocket Money logo just streak across the sky, and you don't even know it, but the tube opens up behind you and sucks you back in. You've got to watch like another 30-second video. It's the exact same one as the first time, and
Oh,
you got
that
to watch that
shitty. Yeah.
again. So you're just kind of like leaned up against the other side of the tube, just waiting for it to be over. Eventually, you get sucked back. You're in the church. It's completely empty. It's an empty church, still warm from the congregation that filled its hall. The front door's open. You go home. You go, you like walk out to the parking lot and you didn't drive. You rode there with your parents. You pull out your phone. Your fucking phone's dead. Who
Oh
knows how long
man.
it's like, who knows how long it's been.
Is it still Christmas?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Snow covers the ground.
Snow in Northern Virginia.
You You walk home. It's only like it's less than a mile, you know. You stick your hot little tongue out of your mouth, feel the snowflakes dance across it. You see you go into the hamlet, you see your parents' house, and you're filled with a sense of gratitude, you know? Just a
Yeah.
sense of gratitude.
Oh, that's good.
You you go to their house, you walk in, your mom and dad were just both are there, like your whole family's there. They're like, "Oh my God, Patrick!" And they come, they give you a hug. They go, "What happened?"
I just tell
They
them.
said, "They said you've been gone for hours. You just disappeared."
Yeah, I just tell them what happened.
And they
What I
said nobody
saw.
at Rocket Money could help us. We got on the chat with them on their website. Nobody could tell us what was going on. They said, "What happened?" You spill the beans. You tell them about having to drag the cross the Christ was crucified upon. And then you feel it again in your finger. You're like, fuck, oh, I got this splinter and I can't get it out. You're like, I've had a long day. I just want to go to bed. I'm very exhausted.
Yeah.
It's like one of those where thank you for staying up waiting for me, but I just want to go to bed. It's like, I'll see you in the morning. So you go in, you get a shower, take a fat shit, brush your teeth, you do your nighttime routine, and you're sitting there and you look in the cabinet, you have like a pair of tweezers. You open the window in your bathroom, you light up a joint, you're blowing the smoke outside. It takes you a few minutes and it's kind of painful, but you pull out like this like inch and a half long splinter out of your finger.
Hmm.
You feel immediate relief. You just throw it out the window, right?
I wouldn't hold on to that. That's a pretty intense thing to own.
Well, it's a splinter, you know? It's like a piece and you're like you don't even like really think about it. You're like,
The
"Oh, get
cross
rid of
that
it."
killed Christ.
Yeah, but it's like a splinter. It's like a piece of bloody gross wood that's been inside of you.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
And it's just like instinctually, like you're not gonna keep a splinter. What are you gonna put in a fucking paper bag? What are you gonna do with it? How are you
I
gonna
would bring it
preserve
to
it?
the Vatican, sell it.
But you don't.
No,
You throw it right out
no, I
your
don't.
window. You do. You get it out, you feel like such relief, you're just like, oh, gross. And you flick it out, and then you're like, oh, I should have fucking kept that. You're like, I'm an idiot, you know?
Yeah.
A year goes by. It is the best year of your adult life. You experience more career, financial, personal success that you have in any one area over the last decade combined. Pretty, you just things go really well for you. You feel great. You're in great shape. You're going home again. You're gonna see your family. You had such a good time last time. You guys were like, let's do this again next year. Like, let's not make this a thing that we do once a decade. Like, your parents are like, hey, we're getting older, like we need to like really make the most of our time. And so you do. You come home, you look great, everybody comments on it. You go to bed that first night, you hang out by that window, you crack it open, you light up a joint.
I'm just smoking inside.
Well, you're blowing the smoke out through your window
Okay.
as to not smoke inside. You just kind of got your head hanging out the window. You look up at the full moon that hangs over the hamlet, and you just sort of reflect on like what the last year has been for you. You hear a crunching, rustling of leaves as the wind blows through. You look down, and beneath your window is a tree that wasn't there last time. And you kind of squint into it, and you see in the color and the patterns of the leaf, it looks like Christ's face. He's got that
Oh
crown of thorn on his
no.
hands,
Oh man. Oh
right?
no.
The leaves move almost like he's blinking, and you hear on the wind, you hear his voice go, "Pat, why'd you give them my cross? Why'd you do it?"
What?
He said, "I saw you. You dragged my cross.
Well, somebody was gonna
Why?"
do it. Somebody was gonna do it, and he took it anyway, and he took a sword out. He's gonna kill me if he didn't. Also, weren't you supposed to die for our sins? Why is it a big deal that I brought the thing over?
He says, "Not all of the books of the Bible are known to you." He goes, "There is a missing text.
Yeah?
It's called That Night."
That's the name
That,
of the
yeah, that night, 2:12 states, and he cried out, "Help me, please. Someone help me. You shall live forever in heaven if thou helpst me."
You didn't say that.
He said, "Of course I said that."
I was there.
He said, "You saw a representation of what you know." He goes, "Look, you dragged
Look.
that cross. You did it without question." He goes, "But thankfully, you brought a piece of me back with you." He goes, "I grew from that splinter and your blood, and I have returned." And the rapture starts right outside
What?
of your childhood bedroom window. The rapture starts, and it's like a slow, it's a very slow process. And so you immediately see your family get raptured, right? But like it
Oh,
moves like very slowly, like a seeping like magma flowing down the side of a volcano. And so
oh,
over the course of like an entire year, you see just everybody around you get raptured slowly but surely, and you're just like walking around your childhood home. And as soon as everybody is raptured, the tree that has Christ's face on it, the whole time the rapture is occurring, the leaves are like flipped upside down. It looks like his eyes are rolling back in his head. As soon as
oh,
like
that is horrifying.
as soon as the rapture covers the globe, the tree just shoots up and it like weaves its way into your bedroom and just stabs you 100 times in your sleep in the middle of the night. You were just like walking around the house eating, non-perishable goods, like waiting for the apocalypse to end. And
Everyone's
Christ,
gone.
everybody's gone. Nothing works. The Christ tree just stabs you right in the middle of your chest
How
several
could he?
times. You bleed out right there. You're the
Ah,
last person on earth to die. You're the very last person on earth to go.
so I don't even get raptured. I just die. Man, that
Yeah.
is
When you die, you go to the pearly gates and they let the guy in before you, and then they turn the sign around and they say it's full, and then, then you go
oh,
straight to hell. You go to hell, and you're thinking like, well, maybe hell will be full, and then you hear a voice go, "Nope," and you just go straight to
oh
hell.
man.
Yeah,
Hell awaits.
yeah,
Ah, that is a awful Christmas. That is a really, really bad one. All right.
yeah.